James Charles is a YouTube beauty guru of almost 24 million subscribers and a past full of controversies. In 2019, serious allegations against James began to surface. He was accused of alleged inappropriate relationships with minors and straight teens. The whole affair was put to rest in the end when Tati Westbrook, the beauty guru who exposed James, apologized to him for falsely accusing him, and he himself apologized as well.
I really thought that like the only issue was kind of like the straight guys and being lied to. But I now realize that it was obviously a much deeper problem. I had the mentality that I could reach out to literally anybody and use my Explore page and For You page as a dating app, and eventually I would just happen to find the right person, but that's just not how dating works, literally at all. It's gross, it's weird, and it's desperation. This whole situation has been so embarrassing and I'm ashamed, but like I said, I'm now educated and fully understand what went on. And I'm making a promise to all of you right now on camera that I will be way more careful moving forward with every single person that I speak to. My For You page and Explore page are not dating apps, and I will stop treating them as if they are.
And that was probably the end of the whole affair. Until just a couple of days ago, a TikTok went viral of a guy exposing his DMs with James.
So obviously being that you are straight, I would assume that you don't know a lot about like the gay community.
And the results of that are probably James' worst nightmare. His dark past of allegedly preying on straight guys and being cancelled for it made a comeback. After what happened last time and what it took for James to get his career back, this is not a small matter. You might have seen people calling James a predator and a liar, and on the other hand, people defending him, saying that this is nothing like the last time, and this time the guy's own sister is defending James too. So what really happened? And is it like what happened before, or are people just projecting James Charles' past onto the recent events? To answer this, let's take a closer look at the facts. In mid-April 2019, James Charles tweeted that a guy called Gage Gomez led him on and was conning him for clout. Gage then came out and said that he realized he wasn't interested in men after his time with James at Coachella. Early May 2019, Tati Westbrook, who is also a huge beauty guru on YouTube, posted the infamous video called Bye Sister, where Tati said that she no longer wanted to be associated with James and described several instances where she witnessed or heard James being inappropriate around straight men.
Oh my god, you tried to trick a straight man into thinking he's gay yet again, and somehow you're the victim.
This video exploded and ended up blowing the situation and influenced how a lot of people saw James. Some people, however, were not so keen to believe Tati and questioned her motives, since she was really upset when James promoted her competitor Sugar Bear Hair, which she admitted later was her breaking point. She later apologized for making that video and claimed that she was manipulated into making that video about James by Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star. In May of 2019, Sam Cooke accused James after Tati mentioned his story in her video. He uploaded his own video saying that James hit on him. He said that he was bi-curious at the time and slid into James' DMs. They met in a hotel room and made out. However, Sam realized that he wasn't interested in men and broke things off. James was upset with Sam for telling him that he was bisexual and then later switching to bi-curious. He told Sam, "You're not straight no matter how many times you tell yourself that." Later, Sam apologized to James, saying that he already knew that he was straight, but pretended to enjoy his experience with James because he was too shy to turn him down due to James being a celebrity. The next accusation came from Jeffree Star. Jeffree Star called James a danger to society and said that his boyfriend didn't want James in their home. At the time, Jeffree was telling the audience that James was trying to manipulate them, but later backtracked and posted a video saying that all the things he said he knew about James were only rumors that he heard from other people. So people were saying things and later taking them back, but then a few occurrences came to light where James did and said things that got a lot of people really upset. Some of these accusations are as follows. A 14-year-old TikToker said James allegedly sent him intimate photos. He didn't tell James his age at the time, but argued that it was available in famous birthdays. Another very serious accusation came from the 16-year-old Isaiah, who said that James asked him for private photos and allegedly expressed his interest in seeing Isaiah's body and body hair. Life of Ozzy was another 16-year-old who said that he reached out to James because he felt bad for him, and he also said that James used him to get intimate pictures.
Things started to get really weird because he started asking me for pics of this thing over here, and I was like, what the fuck do I do? Like, do I send it? I didn't know what to do. I know a lot of you guys were saying, oh, like, you could have blocked him, blah, 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 but the thing is, like, when you're talking to somebody that you look up to, it's not as easy to do so.
It's important to mention here that being found in a possession of intimate pictures from an underage person is a serious felony and can land a person in prison. And even though James was saying that he didn't know that these people were underage, the whole thing still left a really bad impression on people. Another thing that did not help James is that he described his ideal type as a very young and straight guy.
I'm not physically attracted to older guys, which sucks. Like, I would date like the absolute youngest, like 18, 19 that looks a little bit older, or like 24 that like has a young personality.
Okay.
At the time, some people defended James, saying that these guys were leading him on and lying about their age and then exposing their DMs with James for clout. And others were saying that James was grooming these people and displaying predatory patterns of behavior. James got his career back by promising that he understood what he did wrong and promising not to use social media as a dating app and to not ever use his fame or money to get people to go out with him.
In 2019, when I had my whole situation, I was accused of abusing my fame, money, and power to get what I wanted. And when I responded to that at the time, I said that that was disgusting and that I would never want to do that. And to this day, I still stand behind that sentiment 1000%.
Which brings us to the recent events. The guy in question exposed his DMs with James, where James is evidently trying to get him interested in becoming his boyfriend. The TikTok that went viral shows James communicating with a guy named David on Instagram. David managed to record the conversation even though James used a feature on Instagram that allows the messages to be deleted right after they're sent. David, who exposed these messages, also posted on TikTok. There were so many of these. I didn't record because he had vanish mode, almost like he knew what he was sending is wrong. He also posted on TikTok the messages he got from James. James had said, "It's a really lucrative role. It's called My Boyfriend. Requirements: 6'2", must love escape rooms, horror movies, and cuddling. Big and an occasional FaceTime call. The salary is $0, but it's a good job offer, I think. Perks include a cute boyfriend with a great personality and a huge free living in a $10 million house in LA, fun travel opportunities, good, and more." When James found out that David was exposing him on TikTok, he messaged, "Go f yourself, David." After this whole thing became viral, David's own sister took to TikTok and exposed her own brother.
He was talking to James Charles about a month and a half ago. All those videos are a month and a half old. And he started posting them last night around midnight, and they went viral. Now Twitter is doing its thing, Reddit's doing its thing, people on YouTube doing their thing. And he obviously did it for views. There's no hidden meaning behind it. And James Charles did nothing wrong in this situation. I know the screenshots that's on the internet that were sent to my brother look kind of questionable. But again, they spoke for a few weeks. My brother led him on a bit, even though he said he was straight. He was leading him on.
Even if what James did this time wasn't wrong because he did the age check, the leaked messages between James and that guy are clearly flirty, and it's clear that he at least thought that they were either in a relationship or are sort of on the way there, because he made that one comment about having to have a face-to-face conversation to fall in love.
So if I'd be like, oh my god, God, David, you're annoying over text, right? You don't know if I'm saying like, oh my God, David, you're being annoying. Or like, oh my God, David, you're being annoying. Or like, oh my God, David, you're being annoying. Because all three of those are completely different like emotions that you cannot see through text. You only get to actually experience those through a FaceTime call or through being in person. Even over the phone, you still miss out on things because you're missing somebody's facial expressions, right? So because you refuse to hang out with people or because you refuse to FaceTime, you're not allowing people to actually get to know you as like a human being. And that's a massive, massive problem whenever it comes to being in a relationship with somebody. You cannot fall in love with somebody simply just from text.
So that was on the table, like he wasn't hiding his intentions. These messages are very intimate and definitely not something that James would have been okay with the whole internet seeing. But nonetheless, these messages now published are incredibly embarrassing to James. All the above could be said and left at that had there not been such a dark past with James and straight teens. With this thought in mind, the current situation looks a lot more serious. James Charles at the time found those underage teens on social media. At this time around, the guy is of consenting age, but the messages shared show clearly that A. James used social media as means to meet people and start dating, which he promised to never do that again, and B. whether as a cute joke or maybe he was serious, he used his money and success to appeal to this guy he was interested in. And that is why people are so upset with him and are taking this to mean that James did not in fact mean what he said in his apology video, and the old accusations are resurfacing once more. To think that James does not understand the gravity of the situation after what happened is incredibly frustrating, and it should have never really happened. James Charles is famous enough for him to have a PR team that got together and decided on some rules not to be crossed again by James. And what's more, he is celebrity enough to where he needs to understand that he can't deal with dating like non-famous people do. The results of that are clearly disastrous. It's high time that James got a matchmaking team of his own who can maybe help him go about dating as the famous person that he is. What's more, I think that James probably has a lot to give, and it's really sad people trying to use him for what he has, be that a viral TikTok or a free Coachella trip. I think James needs to understand that he cannot be going about meeting people the way that he has, or regardless of even meeting someone or not meeting someone. The whole sliding into random people's DMs on social media is something that has to stay in the past for James. There are just no excuses for that anymore, as he already promised not to do that. But yeah, let me know what you think about this. I would love to hear your thoughts, and thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.